What's up, Vortex Nation? Today we are going to be learning all about the Talon HD 10K Ballistic Laser Rangefinding Binoculars, how to set it up and how to use it. Before starting setup, it's important to calibrate the Talon HD. For detailed instructions, check out our How to Calibrate video where we walk you through the process. Today, we'll begin by walking through how to set up directly on the Talon HD. Then we'll walk through how to pair the GeoBallistics app for setup and additional features offered with the app. Talon HD 10K is a completely standalone device. The use of an app is not necessary to set up or utilize the Talon HD. It provides range, environmentals, and wind inputs to its onboard GeoBallistics solver to provide accurate ballistic solutions customized to your setup. The device comes with 10 preloaded common rifle profiles that can be used as is or customized directly on the device. You can also use the Talon HD to build and store up to 10 range cards. To increase the accuracy of your solution, it's possible to customize the Talon HD to your specific setup. Let's start with some simple button navigation to familiarize ourselves with the Talon HD 10K. Press the measure button to turn on the Talon HD 10K. The first screen we see is the range screen. From this screen, press the measure button to take a range. To open the main menu, press the menu button. You can navigate the menu screens using the left and right arrow buttons to toggle through selections and pressing the main menu button to select. You can select back to navigate backwards in the menu structure or press both the left arrow and the right arrow buttons at the same time. You may exit the menu at any time and save your settings by pressing the measure button to return to the range screen. Pressing both the left and right arrow buttons from the range screen will turn off the Talon HD 10K display to quickly return to glassing. Now that we know how to navigate the device, let's begin with the main menu. From the main menu, you can access the Setup menu, Settings menu, Connected Devices menu, and Environment menu screens. We will start with the Setup menu. In the Setup screen, you can access both range and target mode selection screens. Select and modify rifle profiles, and edit or access saved range cards. The Talon HD 10K is factory set to angle compensating HCD range mode, normal target mode, 308 Winchester profile, and range card off. First, we'll set our range mode. You can choose between the HCD, LOS, and BAL modes. The selected mode will be designated with an arrow. The HCD, or Horizontal Component Distance mode, will be your primary mode when not using the onboard ballistic solver. The displayed HCD yardage number is corrected for shot angle. LOS, or Line of Sight mode, is intended for rifle shooters who are using slope-correcting ballistic drop data cards, ballistic cell phone applications, or devices with ballistic programs who are shooting at distances beyond 500 yards and with slopes greater than 15 degrees. Lastly, BAL, or Ballistics mode, which is what we are going to select, utilizes the onboard GeoBallistics solver to calculate in-display wind and drop solutions. In addition to the range, it shows the slope incline in degrees, rifle scope units in MOA, mil, or inches, and the ballistic correction based on the selected profile. You can also see shot details such as remaining velocity, time of flight, target direction, remaining energy, density altitude, wind speed, and direction in the display on BAL mode. To use the onboard ballistic solver, you need to be in BAL mode. Select back to return to the setup menu. Next, we'll set our target mode. On the Setup menu screen, toggle to and select Target Mode. You can choose between Normal, ELR, Last, First, and Rain Fog mode. The Talon HD 10K comes preset to Normal mode. This is the standard mode providing the target's range with the strongest range result. Normal mode is recommended for most situations. Next is ELR, or Extended Laser Range mode. This mode allows for ranging smaller, less reflective targets at extended distances. It is ideal for ranging when normal mode is unable to obtain a desired range. A longer range response time may be required. It is recommended to utilize a tripod for the best results. Last mode displays the farthest distance when ranging. It is ideal for ranging a specific target behind a group of objects, such as rocks, trees, brush, etc. First mode displays the closest distance when ranging. It is ideal for ranging a smaller target in front of other larger or more reflective objects. Lastly, rain fog mode is ideal for ranging in the rain or fog and helps the rangefinder return accurate readings despite poor visibility. Note that the max reflective ranging ability will be greatly decreased in poor visibility, but reliability on intermediate targets will be improved in rain fog mode. Select the mode that best fits your situation. We are going to stay in normal mode. Select back to return to the setup menu. Our next selection is Profile. The Talon HD 10K comes with 10 common default ballistic profiles. The profiles can be used as is or customized to reflect your specific rifle and bullet combination. The default profiles include the .308 Winchester, 6.5 Creedmoor, 223 or 5.56, 30-06, 300 Winchester Magnum, 270 Winchester, 7mm Remington Magnum, 243 Winchester, 22-250 Remington, and the 22 Long Rifle. The selected profile will be designated with an arrow. We are shooting a .308 today, so we'll select the .308 Winchester. To customize a profile for your setup, navigate to the profile you'd like to edit and press the menu button to select it. Once the profile is designated with an arrow, press the menu button again to open the edit screen. Use the left and right arrow buttons to navigate to the field you'd like to edit. Press the menu button to select the field you'd like to edit. Use the left and right arrow buttons to toggle through options or increase or decrease a value. Press the menu button to accept or advance to the next character or value you'd like to edit. Once you've made all your edits, select Back to save and to return profile screen. Select Back to the setup menu and continue to the range card. The last option in the setup menu is the range card feature. Range cards can help provide quick and accurate ballistic solutions that can be used again and again. The Talon HD 10K has the capability to store 10 range cards. Within each range card, 10 targets can be stored. On the range card screen, select On to turn on the range card feature. Select which card you'd like to edit. To rename the range card, press the menu button to open the range card edit screen. Use the menu button to select which character to change and the left and right arrow buttons to toggle through the keyboard options. Select Back to return to the range card screen. To build a range card, select the range card you'd like to edit and press the measure button to open the range card. Line up your reticle to your target and press the measure button to range. The measured range will show up as A. You can change this range until you are satisfied with the distance by pressing the measure button to range again. To move on to the next target, press the right arrow button. Continue these steps until all targets are entered. You can also manually enter range by pressing and holding the right arrow button to select the range value. Use the left and right arrow buttons to adjust the range. Press the measure button to save the range. To move on to the next target, press the right arrow button. To save the range card, press the menu button. You'll be prompted with a notification. Select Yes to save changes. The range card will save the target distance, inclination, and direction. If you update your wind or weather parameters or your profile, your range card and ballistic solutions will automatically update accordingly. To turn off the range card, toggle to and select Off from the range card screen. Select Back to return to the setup menu screen. Select Back to return to the main menu and continue to adjust the Talon HD 10K settings to your preferences. The Talon HD 10K is factory set to auto brightness, all display features on, circle reticle, standard units, and auto shutoff set to 3 minutes. To change settings, select Settings to open the Settings menu. In the Settings menu, you can access brightness settings, display features, reticle selection, units, and auto shutoff. This menu is also where you can reset the device to factory settings. The Talon HD 10K comes preset to an automatic brightness setting that will adjust the display brightness based on the surrounding environment. To edit the setting, select Brightness. Within the brightness screen, users can also choose between 5 brightness settings. The selected brightness level will be denoted with an arrow. Select Back to return to the settings menu. The range display default is to have all features shown. You can decide to turn off all display features or to individually customize their display by using the menu button to toggle on or off the following features: range mode, target mode, inclination, target direction, wind speed, remaining energy, remaining velocity, time of flight, density altitude, and profile. Note, remaining energy, remaining velocity, time of flight, and profile are only available in BAL mode. Once your desired selections are made, select Back to save and return to the settings menu. The Talon HD 10K offers 7 reticle options. To change your reticle, open the reticle selection screen and use the left or right arrow buttons to toggle between the circle, star, duplex, square, open center crosshair, half grid, or full grid reticle options. Press the menu button to select your desired reticle. The selected reticle will be denoted with an arrow. If you select a half or full grid reticle, the grid units will match the active profile units to be either MRAD or MOA. Select Back to save and return to the settings menu. Within the units selection screen, the Talon HD 10K offers the selection of standard or metric units. This will set all applicable rifle units, weather units, and distance units to that unit of measure. To customize each unit individually, navigate to and select Custom. Once selected, press the menu again to open the custom unit selection screen where you can edit rifle units, weather units, and distance units independently. Use the left or right arrow button to navigate to the unit you'd like to change and press the menu button to toggle through unit options. Once you've selected your desired unit of measure, press the right arrow button to continue to the next field. Repeat until all units are set to your preferences. Select Back to save and return to the unit selection screen. Select Back again to return to the settings menu. Select Auto Off to edit the auto shutoff settings. The Talon HD 10K offers 7 auto shutoff options: 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour. Use the left and right arrow buttons to navigate to your desired settings and press the menu button to select it. The selected auto shutoff setting will be denoted with an arrow. Select Back to return to the settings menu. The last option in the settings menu is a factory reset. The factory reset screen can be utilized to restore the Talon HD 10K to the factory settings. Select Erase All Data and Restore to reset the device. Note, this will clear your range cards, your rifle profiles, and all other selections made. If you wish to save off a copy of your range cards and rifle profiles prior to performing this step, make sure to create an account and sync your device with the GeoBallistics app. Select Back to return to the settings menu. Select Back to return to the main menu. After you've customized the Talon HD 10K to your preferences, the next menu is the Connected Devices menu. The Talon HD 10K can connect with other Vortex relay devices to maximize shooting accuracy and efficiency through real-time data sharing. Vortex Relay is a closed network that recognizes and remembers every Vortex Relay-enabled device in your long-range toolkit. Set it up once, and it reliably connects every device every time. Connecting multiple Vortex Relay products seamlessly integrates your ballistic tools and transmits information between devices so that you don't have to, keeping the information up to date and consistent across devices. One thing to note is the Talon HD 10K is a standalone device. Connection to other Vortex Relay devices is not required. Select Connected Devices to open the Connected Devices menu. From this screen, you can access the Device Manager and the Source Manager. Select Device Manager. The Device Manager screen allows you to view, add, or remove compatible Vortex Relay devices to your network and connect to a Vortex Relay Bluetooth remote. Under the View section on Device Manager screen, you can view which devices are currently connected via the Vortex Relay network. To show up on the network, the devices must be previously added and turned on. By selecting View next to a device, you can see the device name, device software, and network software. Note, on the range screen, the Bluetooth icon will change to a number to indicate how many devices are on the network. A 1 indicates that the Talon HD is the only device active on the network. A 4 would indicate that 3 other devices are active on the network with the Talon HD. Under the Add section is where you can add devices to your network. The Talon HD will automatically find all compatible devices on the Vortex Relay network that are turned on and within the Bluetooth range, approximately 30 feet, that are not already connected to another network. Select the device from the list that you wish to add. When the new device joins the network, if the profiles or range cards are different, you will be asked on both devices which device's information should be used. Repeat to add any additional devices. The Remove section is where you can remove devices from your network. Select the device that you wish to remove from the network. Note, you can remove your Talon HD from your network if you wish to join another network, or if you sell or lend your Talon HD to someone else. Lastly, a Connect Remote section will appear when a Bluetooth remote is added to your network. This screen is where you can control which device your Bluetooth remote is paired with. Select your remote and then select which device you'd like to connect your remote to. Select Back to return to the Device Manager screen. Select Back again to return to the Connected Devices screen. Once you've connected your devices to the network, select Source Manager to open the Source Manager screen. From this screen, you can designate which device you'd like to provide ballistics, weather, and wind information. The ability to select the source for each of these fields means that you always know where your information is coming from. Under Ballistics Source, select which device's onboard solver you'd like to provide ballistics from the list. The selected device will be noted with Active. Weather can be sourced from the Talon HD onboard environmental sensors, another Vortex Relay device, or from the GeoBallistics app. The GeoBallistics app can source weather from local weather stations or third-party weather meters. Note, if the Talon HD is not the active weather source, you will be unable to edit the weather values from the Talon. Under Wind Source, select which device you'd like as the wind source from the list. The selected device will be noted with Active. Wind data can manually be inputted via the Talon HD or sourced from another Vortex Relay device, or from the GeoBallistics app. The GeoBallistics app can source wind data from local weather stations or third-party weather meters. Note, if the Talon HD is not the active wind source, you will be unable to edit the wind values from the Talon. Once you have designated your preferred sources, select Back to return to the Connected Devices menu. Select Back again to return to the main menu and continue to the environmental menu. When calculating ballistic corrections in the BAL mode, it will be necessary to account for wind and weather for the most accurate solution. The Talon HD 10K comes with onboard environmental sensors to capture this data. It has an internal compass to capture direction, an inclinometer to capture inclination angle, a thermometer to capture temperature, and a barometer to capture pressure, and hygrometer to capture humidity. Wind, weather, and compass settings can be found in the environment menu. This menu can be quickly opened by pressing and holding the wind bearing capture button. Select Wind to open the wind capture screen. The Talon HD 10K uses the patented wind bearing capture to manually input wind speed and direction. The Talon HD will keep track of wind direction regardless of the direction the user is facing. Be sure the Talon HD has been properly calibrated before attempting to use the wind bearing capture mode. The active wind source will be shown at the top of the screen. To manually enter wind speed, navigate to wind speed and press the menu button to select and edit the wind speed. Press the right arrow button to increase and the left arrow button to decrease the wind speed. Press Menu to save. To manually enter wind direction, navigate to wind direction and press the menu button to select and edit wind direction. Press the left arrow button to move the wind direction indicator counterclockwise, or press the right arrow button to move the wind direction indicator clockwise. The wind direction indicator moves in 15-degree increments. Orient the wind direction indicator to represent the direction the wind is coming from relative to the direction you currently have binoculars facing. The indicator direction is the wind direction. Press the menu button to save your entry. The wind direction indicator will rotate as the device rotates regardless of the direction the user is facing. Wind speed and wind direction can also be quickly edited from the range screen by pressing the wind bearing capture button to select the variable you'd like to edit and using the left and right arrow buttons to adjust. Select Back to return to the environment menu. Next, select Weather to open the weather screen. The active weather source will be shown at the top of the screen. Temperature, pressure, humidity, and a calculated density altitude are displayed on the weather screen. The values for temperature, pressure, and humidity can be measured by the onboard environmental sensors provided by another Vortex relay device or entered manually. The Talon HD 10K defaults to utilizing its internal sensors. By pressing the menu button with the internal sensors selected, you can toggle to the manual entry. With manual entries selected, you can navigate to and edit temperature, pressure, and humidity manually by pressing the menu button to select the value and pressing the left arrow button to decrease and the right arrow button to increase the values. If you decide to have another Vortex relay device be the weather source, weather cannot be manually adjusted via the Talon HD. Select Back to return to the environment menu. Lastly, the compass screen can be accessed through the environment menu. On this screen, you can access the internal compass or calibrate the compass. The Talon HD 10K compass needs to be calibrated during initial setup and should be recalibrated every time you significantly change location, typically 30 miles or more, and after battery changes. Calibrate your Talon HD 10K outside and away from large metal structures or objects. Press the measure button to close the menu and open the range screen. Once the Talon HD 10K is set to your rifle's setup and preferences, and the wind and weather are captured, it is ready to range. With the Talon HD powered up, position the reticle on the target you wish to range, then press and release the measure button to get the distance measurement. In BAL mode, a custom wind drop solution will be displayed. The number on the left is your elevation correction, and the number on your right is your windage correction. The direction you dial is signified on the left side of the correction with a U for up or D for down for elevation, and either an L for left or R for right for windage. Simply dial or hold for the correction. While use of the GeoBallistics app is not required, it can be a great tool for quick edits and inputs and offers additional features including ballistic charts, a map feature, the reticle view tool, and the ability to pull wind and weather from local weather stations or third-party weather meters. Go to your device's app store and download the GeoBallistics app for free. Once downloaded, open the GeoBallistics app. Navigating the GeoBallistics app is simple. You will see several icons. In the top left corner is the account icon, where you can create and access your account information. Although it is not required, we recommend creating an account on GeoBallistics app. Doing so will ensure your data is backed up should anything ever happen to your device or app. The top right is the settings icon, which opens up the app settings. Along the bottom, there are 5 icons. The first is the Armory, which is where you can create and edit profiles, along with create and save rifles, bullets, optics, and muzzle devices to your armory. Next is the Atmospherics icon, which opens the Atmospherics page, where you can view and edit environmental data, connect third-party weather meters, or pull local airport data. By pressing the GeoBallistics logo, you can open the Quick Access menu. From this menu, you can access the Edit Profile, Tools, Reticle View, GeoBallistics Info, and Help screens. Next is the Range Cards icon, where you can access saved range cards. Lastly, the Bluetooth icon, which opens the Manage Devices screen, where you can connect compatible devices with the GeoBallistics app. Across the top of the main screen of the GeoBallistics app, there are 4 tabs: HUD, Chart, Map, and Comp. These can be great tools to utilize while shooting. We'll cover these in depth later. Now that you're familiar with the GeoBallistics app, it's time to connect your Talon HD. To pair your Talon HD with your mobile device, ensure the Bluetooth on your mobile device is turned on and the GeoBallistics app has been allowed access to your mobile device's location services. Power on the Talon HD. Ensure the Bluetooth icon is visible on the range screen. Open the GeoBallistics app and select the Bluetooth symbol in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Select the Vortex relay tile. You should be prompted with a Talon pop-up. Click Connect. The GeoBallistics app and Talon HD are now connected. This is denoted by a blue Bluetooth symbol next to the Talon HD on the GeoBallistics app. Also, a Vortex relay icon with the number of devices on the network will appear while on the main screens of the GeoBallistics app. If you were not prompted with a Talon pop-up, press the icon next to the Talon image. Tap on your Talon HD referencing the last 4 digits of the serial number on the bottom of your Talon HD. This will connect the unit with the GeoBallistics app. If your Talon HD is already on a network, you will need to either join the existing network with the GeoBallistics app or remove the Talon HD from the network it is on. Now that you are connected, you can customize where your ballistic, weather, and wind information are coming from on your network. To do so, from the network management screen, select the ballistics icon next to the device you would like to calculate your ballistic solution. Select the weather icon next to the device you would like to provide weather and the wind icon next to the device where you would like to provide wind information. You can establish a priority as to which devices will provide which information by selecting the ballistic source, weather source, and the wind source icons at the top of the page. The priority would come into effect if one of your devices was not present or not connected to the network. To access the Talon HD settings menu from the app, click the ellipses next to the Talon from the network management screen. On the settings screen, you can disconnect your Talon from the network by selecting the trash can icon, check your battery level, and access a calibration demo. Lastly, if any firmware updates are available, they will be listed under firmware. Select Update to update to the latest version. You will also be prompted automatically when connecting to the app if a software update is needed. Now that your Talon is paired, it's time to customize your GeoBallistics app with your preferences via the App Settings menu. To navigate to the App Settings menu, select the Settings icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. While in the App Settings menu, you will be able to change app preferences, ballistic preferences, mobile sensors, chart increments, distance units, rifle profile units, and weather units. At the top of the App Settings screen, you'll see HUD, Chart, map, and comp. By selecting one of these options, that will become the default when opening the app. You can also adjust whether you'd like to account for spin drift, Coriolis effect, or crosswind jump in your ballistic solution by toggling them on or off in the ballistic preferences section. For the utmost accuracy, we recommend toggling these on. These are always on within the Talon's onboard solver. Within the mobile sensor section of the app settings menu, you can toggle on or off angle and compass to denote if you'd like to use your mobile device's compass and inclinometer when you're not using your GeoBallistics app with the Talon. In the chart increments section, you can select what distance increments you'd like for the chart to be laid out in. For example, you can see solutions for every 5, 10, 25, 50, or 100 yards or meters. Within the distance units, you can select if you'd like distance displayed in meters or yards within the app. Under the Rifle Profiles Units section, you can select centimeters or inches for length measurements and meters per second or feet per second for velocity measurements. You can set your preferences for your weather units. Choose between millibars, MB, or inches of mercury, INHG, for pressure, Celsius or Fahrenheit for temperature, meters or feet for density altitude, and meters per second or miles per hour for wind speed. Lastly, from the toolbar and quick access menu section, you can drag and reorder the menus based on your preferences. You can also choose whether the toolbar icons are labeled or not within the section. To reset to the app defaults, click Reset to Default. Once you have customized the app settings to your preferences, select the back arrow in the upper left-hand corner of the screen to return to the main screen. Now that your Talon HD and app settings are ready to go, it's time to select your rifle profile. You must have 10 profiles loaded into the Talon HD at all times. These profiles can be set up in the Talon HD menu or via the GeoBallistics app. The default profiles include 308 Winchester, 6.5 Creedmoor, 223 or 5.56, the 30-06, 300 Winchester Magnum, 270 Winchester, 7mm Remington Magnum, 243 Winchester, 22-250 Remington, and a 22 long rifle. Profiles will automatically sync between the Talon HD and your app anytime changes are made to the ballistic profiles. If a change is made to a profile in either the Talon HD or on your app when they are not connected, upon reconnection, you will be notified that there is a discrepancy and asked which device's information you'd like to use. To view the profiles currently synced between your device and the Talon HD, navigate to the Armory page by selecting the icon on the lower left corner of the main screen. Expand the Vortex Relay Rifles folder. The currently synced profiles will be annotated with A through J before their names. You can also build custom ballistic profiles in the GeoBallistics app. Custom profiles allow you to harness the total power of the ballistic solver and fine-tune your corrections for maximum effectiveness in the field. To create a new custom rifle profile, select the plus button at the top of the Armory page. Select New Rifle. Select the folder you wish to add the profile to. It is important to note Vortex Relay Rifles is the only folder that's profiles can be synced to your Talon HD. For now, we will save this new profile under the My Rifles folder. As you build your profile, you can press the information icon next to each section for more information on how to find, measure, and input each of the values. Units can also be changed from the settings menu for each of these inputs. First, name the profile. Today, we are shooting a custom 308 built for competition. We'll name ours 308 Comp. Select your rifle cartridge from the drop-down menu of options. We'll select 308 Winchester for our setup. Next, input the distance at which you have zeroed your rifle. Our setup is zeroed at 100 yards. Next is the elevation offset, which is the vertical offset from the point of aim at your zero distance. For example, you entered 100 yards for your zero range, and at 100 yards, your point of impact is 1 inch high. Enter 1 here. If your point of impact is 1 inch low, enter -1 here. We'll leave this at 0. The windage offset is a horizontal offset from the point of aim at your 0 distance. For example, you entered 100 yards for your 0 range, and at 100 yards your point of impact is 1 inch right. Enter 1 here. If your point of impact is 1 inch left, enter -1 here. We'll leave this at 0 as well. Barrel twist rate is the distance covered for each revolution of the bullet within the barrel. For example, if your barrel is denoted as 1 in 8, this means the bullet will complete 1 full rotation every 8 inches, and you should enter 8 into the space. You can denote a left-hand twist with a negative sign. This information may be marked on the rifle barrel or on the manufacturer's website. Update the twist rate to match your rifle. Our setup is a 1 in 12, so we'll enter 12. Next, enter your muzzle velocity. Muzzle velocity is the projectile's speed as it leaves the muzzle. You can find this information on the packaging from most ammunition manufacturers or their websites. We highly recommend that you use a chronograph or use the muzzle velocity truing feature to verify this information. This rifle is chronographed at 2,600 feet per second, so we'll enter that here. The last row in the rifle section is MV temp, or muzzle velocity temperature. This section allows you to add recorded muzzle velocity as it correlates to the ambient temperature at the time of the shot. This can be important to the fine-tuning of your ballistic solutions. MV temp is defaulted to off, but it may be turned on by toggling the switch to on. After you have toggled the MV temp on, muzzle velocity will be disabled in the field above. You can enter a custom muzzle velocity temperature table. The use of a chronograph is required for this information. Enter the muzzle velocity measured and the temperature at which it was measured at. It is required to enter at least 2 temperatures with corresponding muzzle velocities for best results. Each temperature entry should increase or decrease by at least 10 degrees. If only using 2 measurements, they should be close to the minimum and maximum expected temperatures. We'll leave this off for now. The next section is for your bullet information. You can search for your bullet in the bullet library by selecting the magnifying glass icon. Select your rifle, manufacturer, and the bullet weight from the drop-down lists. Then, select the exact bullet you are using. This information can be found on the ammunition box. Make sure you select the manufacturer of the projectile you are shooting. We are shooting a .308 Winchester. The manufacturer of our projectile is Sierra. The weight is 175 grains. Ours is a Sierra Match King, so we'll select that. You'll see it auto-populates all the information for our bullet. Additionally, some bullet profiles are denoted with CD. This stands for Custom Drag Model. A custom drag model is a more refined way of modeling drag for bullets because it uses the actual measured drag of a specific bullet in a ballistic solver. The app provides access to the full bullet library, including custom curve data on nearly all commercially available bullets. We recommend always selecting a custom drag model when available, as it will provide the most accurate solution. If you cannot find your bullet in the library, bullet data may also be added manually by selecting the edit icon. You'll need to enter your bullet's caliber, weight in grains, and length. You must also enter the bullet's drag function. This information may be printed on the box if you are using manufactured bullets. If you are using custom loads, use the drag model listed on the packaging for your bullet. If the drag model is not listed on the packaging, this information can usually be found on the bullet or ammo manufacturer's website. In general, G1 is better for flat-base bullets typically used with pistols and muzzleloaders. G7 is more common and better for longer, boat-tailed bullets, which are common in center-fire cartridges. Next, select the standard set of atmospheric conditions used to calculate your bullet's BC. Choose between Army or ICAO. If you do not know which standard is used by the manufacturer, Choosing a bullet from that manufacturer in the library will let you know which standard that manufacturer uses. The difference between the two atmospheric standards is very slight, but using the correct standard for your bullet BC will yield slightly improved ballistic numbers at longer ranges. Lastly, enter your bullet's ballistic coefficient as it correlates to the drag function. These values can be found on the cartridge box or on the manufacturer's website. Once you've input all your bullet information, you can save your bullet to your armory for quick access in the future by pressing the save icon. Once you've saved the bullet to your armory, it is possible to enter any offsets, elevation, or windage if this bullet is not the one you utilized when zeroing. For example, you entered 100 yards for your zero range, and at 100 yards your point of impact is 1 inch high. Enter 1 for the elevation offset. If your point of impact is 1 inch low, enter -1 to represent that it is 1 inch low. This is the cartridge we utilized to zero, so we'll leave these at 0. The next section is optic information. You can find your Vortex optic from the Vortex optic library by selecting the magnifying glass icon. Select your optic family, solution unit, and magnification from the drop-down lists. Then, select the exact optic you are using. This information can be found on your rifle scope. We're shooting a Razor HD Gen 3, so we'll select Razor. It's in an MRAD rifle scope, so we'll select MRAD. The magnification is a 6:36, so we'll select that from the list. And then we'll select the rifle scope from the list. You'll see our rifle scope's information will auto-populate. If you do not shoot a Vortex rifle scope, optic data may also be added manually by selecting the edit icon. Enter a name for your optic. Choose between MRAD, MOA, or inches. This information will be based on the angular unit of measurement your rifle scope's turrets and reticle are laid out in. Select if your optic is first focal plane or second focal plane. Enter the minimum and maximum magnification of your rifle scope. This can typically be found on the rifle scope's eyepiece. The next section is elevation sight scale factor, which is used to account for any inconsistencies in the elevation turret tracking. Default is set at 1, indicating there is no tracking inconsistency. Sight scale factor is calculated by taking the elevation dial divided by the actual point of impact change. For example, if 20 MOA is dialed, but the point of impact changes by 19 MOA, the correction factor is 20 divided by 19, which equals 1.052. Next, windage sight scale factor is used to account for any inconsistencies in windage turret tracking. Same as the elevation, the default is set at 1, indicating there is no tracking inconsistency. Sight scale factor is calculated by taking the windage dial divided by the actual point of impact change. For example, if 20 MOA is dialed, but the point of impact changes by 19 MOA, the correction factor is 20 divided by 19, equaling 1.052. Enter the diameter of the rifle scope's main tube and select between inches or millimeters for the diameter units. Lastly, enter the sight height. This is the height from the center of the rifle bore to the center of the optic. If you are not able to physically measure your sight height, you can utilize your device's camera to measure this dimension. To measure this dimension, press the Edit button next to the sight height. This will open the Measure Sight Height tool. Read the how-to instructions and then press the Continue button to begin. Take a picture of your rifle. Adjust the box so it fits your rifle scope's tube. Next, move one point to the center of the barrel and then move the second point to another spot along your barrel. Click Set Height to apply the measured sight height to your profile. Once you've input all your optic information, you can save your optic to your armory for quick access in the future by pressing the Save icon. Within the next section of the profile, you can add in your muzzle device information to account for offsets incurred by the device. Muzzle device data may be added manually by selecting the Edit icon. Name the device and enter any elevation or windage offsets from the point of aim at your zero distance with your muzzle device installed. For example, you entered 100 yards for your zero range, and at 100 yards your point of impact is 1 inch high. Enter 1 for an elevation offset. If your point of impact is 1 inch low, enter -1. If you are not using a muzzle device, leave these offsets in this section at 0. The next fields are the GeoBallistics overlays, and they are completely optional, but a great tool to utilize in the hunting scenarios to ensure you're making an ethical shot. The first section is vital size. This is an estimated size of the vital area of your target. The ballistic solver will take this value into account when calculating and displaying your ballistic solution in the GeoBallistics app. If the point of aim is in the middle of the vital area, the GeoBallistics app will show the range at which your bullet drop will be outside of the vital area. This overlay will be denoted in gray on the ballistic chart. The next overlay is energy threshold. This is the desired bullet energy at impact to perform an ethical shot. The ballistic solver will take this into account when calculating the solution on the GeoBallistics app. The range where this is exceeded is denoted by a red overlay on the ballistics chart. The final overlay is velocity threshold. This is the desired velocity at impact to perform an ethical shot. The ballistic solver will take this into account when calculating the solution on the GeoBallistics app, and the range where this is exceeded is denoted in yellow on the ballistics chart. As these are not needed for our current application, we will leave these fields blank. The last section of the profile is the corrections section. This section is completely optional, but can be used to fine-tune your solutions. The muzzle velocity truing correction calculates your muzzle velocity based on your rifle, rifle scope, and ammunition. This process updates the predicted muzzle velocity with an observed drop that was built from your personal equipment. Before utilizing this feature, make sure all profile and environmental data are accurate and up to date. We recommend performing truing at a range that produces a 2 to 5 MRAD drop or a 7 to 17 MOA drop for accurate results. To utilize MV truing, press Calculate next to the MV truing. Enter a truing range. An expected drop will populate based on your profiles and inputs. Enter the actual drop that you observed at your truing range. An updated muzzle velocity will be calculated. Select Apply to utilize the calculated muzzle velocity. To keep your current muzzle velocity, press the X in the top right corner to exit. We will leave our muzzle velocity as is for now. You can also fine-tune your ballistic coefficient based on your rifle, rifle scope, and ammunition. This process updates the predicted ballistic coefficient with an observed drop that was built from your personal equipment. Before starting, make sure you have an accurate muzzle velocity input from a chronograph or via MV truing, and make sure all profile and environmental data are accurate and are up to date. For BC truing, we recommend performing truing at a range that produces a 6 to 10 MRAD drop or a 21 to 34 MOA drop for accurate results. To utilize BC truing, press Calculate. Next to the BC truing, if you have obtained your muzzle velocity via chronograph or MV truing, press Proceed. If not, that should be done to ensure accurate results are achieved. Enter a truing range. An expected drop will populate based on your profiles and inputs. Enter the actual drop that you observed at your truing range. An updated ballistic coefficient will be calculated. Select Apply to utilize the calculated ballistic coefficient. To keep your ballistic coefficient, press the X in the top right corner to exit. We'll leave our ballistic coefficient as is for now. Once you have entered your information, the profile will automatically be saved to the folder you selected. You can back out of the setup screen by hitting the back arrow at the top left-hand corner of the screen. You should see your newly created profile in the drop-down list of the folder of which you saved it in. Ours is saved in My Rifles folder. To edit the profile at any time, click the ellipses to the right of the profile's name and click Edit. You can also copy this profile by pressing the ellipses and selecting Copy, and renaming it to use it as a basis for a new profile for the same setup with slight modifications. To delete a profile, press the ellipses icon and select Delete. Note, it is required to have 10 rifle profiles in the Vortex Relay Rifles folder. To ensure you never lose all this valuable data, we strongly recommend that you create an account within the GeoBallistics app. To do so, click the profile icon in the upper left-hand corner and select Register. You will need to enter your email address and create a password. Creating an account is not required, but it does allow the app to back up your rifle profiles and range cards online should something ever happen to your mobile device. To load a new profile to the Talon HD 10K, it needs to be in the Vortex Relay Rifles folder. To move a rifle profile into this folder, at the top of the rifle screen in the armory, we'll select the Sort icon. Press and drag the profile to the desired location. The top profile in the Vortex Relay Rifles will be identified as A. The second profile will be B. And the third profile will be C. And so on. Once the profiles are identified correctly and are in the correct folder, tap Save in the top right-hand corner. The profile will automatically sync to the Talon HD if the devices are connected. Now that we've got our custom ballistic profile built, it's time to capture our wind and weather. While the Talon HD 10K has an onboard environmental sensors to capture temperature, pressure, and humidity, and utilizes its compass to keep track of wind direction, it is also possible to manually enter wind and weather on the GeoBallistics app, or pull wind and weather data from local weather stations or from third-party weather meters. To utilize the app for wind and weather, select the weather icon at the bottom of the app's main screen to open the atmospherics page. Under the Active Profile section, you can manually enter wind by pressing the Wind Direction button while facing into the wind to capture wind bearing. Next, you can input wind speed. Within the Weather section, you can manually enter ambient temperature, absolute pressure, and relative humidity. With these inputs, the app will calculate a value for density altitude. Another option with the GeoBallistics app is to connect to a third-party Kestrel or WeatherFlow weather meter. You can do this by selecting the brand of the weather meter you have. Then select your devices from the drop-down list to connect. Once connected, the data from the weather meter will populate the screen. Pressing the green button will lock in the data measured. You can also utilize an average of data by pressing and holding the green button. To disconnect a weather meter, press the disconnect button. Lastly, you can also pull wind and weather information from a local airport as your weather data source. Tap the arrow to select a nearby airport as your weather data source, or utilize the search bar to manually search for a location. The drop-down menu will display the nearest airports. Once selected, you can tap Use next to the wind speed direction data and the temperature, pressure, humidity, and density altitude data that was obtained from the selected airport. This data will then be displayed under Active Profile. Now that your custom rifle profile is built and wind and weather are captured, it's time to shoot. While it's not necessary to utilize the GeoBallistics app while using the Talon HD 10K, there are some helpful screens you can reference while shooting. The first screen is the HUD tab. From the HUD, or Heads-Up Display tab, you will see your ballistic solution displayed in either MOA, MRAD, or inches based on your preferences. You will see wind and target information based on data collected from either the Talon HD, GeoBallistics app, another Vortex relay device, a third-party weather meter, or selected airport data. Here you may also click any buttons below each data point to capture measurements from your mobile device. Below is the Enter Range button. This button can be used to manually enter range from the app and push it to the Talon HD. Clicking either the left or right arrow next to this button will manually change the range value. You can tap on the respective icons to have your phone measure shot angle and shot direction. Double tapping the icon will zero out these values. For target, you may select the speed and direction of a moving target to add this data to your ballistic solution. On the bottom of the screen is the ballistic data. This is based on information from your selected profile. The HUD screen is a great quick reference screen to utilize while shooting. Another helpful screen is the Chart tab. The Chart tab is a great reference chart of effective ranges and holdovers at different distances. At the top, you will see data for shot angle, shot direction, and range. Here, you may also manually input the data to change your ballistic solution. Below is a chart containing ballistic information based on your selections. You can modify the range increments and units on the app settings page. If values are set for the GeoBallistic overlays within your profile, you will see a gray line for your max vital range, red for your energy threshold, and yellow for velocity threshold within the chart. You may export the chart data using the export icon. Next is the Map tab. The Map feature is a great tool for planning a hunt or building out a range card. Utilizing map imagery, you may locate your current position by clicking the arrow icon in the top left-hand corner of the screen. While on this tab, you can use the shooter icon to drop a pin to denote your location and the target icon to drop pins for your target's locations. You may also use the Talon HD to range a target, which will drop a pin on the map representing the target's position. Once you have dropped target pins, you can click on each one to name them and to see the calculated ballistic solution, additional information, or delete the target. If your target position is far enough to show your GeoBallistic overlays, they will appear using a black dot, max vital range, red dot, energy threshold, and yellow dot, velocity threshold. The line will also change color, dashed black, red, and yellow, to indicate you are beyond that threshold. You can save the pin positions to range card folders by clicking the Save icon, or export them to your Comp tab by clicking the Export icon. You can also change the map view to either Terrain, Standard, Hybrid View, or Satellite View by pressing the map icon. Last is the Comp tab. The Comp tab is a great tool to build and save range cards for your local ranges or preparing for a competitive shooting match. At the top, you may manually enter shot angle, shot direction, and range. This information can also be populated with data from the Talon HD. On this screen, you can build range cards. Range cards built on the Comp tab will automatically update to the Talon HD or any other devices on the network when connected. To build a range card, make sure you have the desired rifle profile selected from the Rifles page. The selected profile is shown next to the A through J designation, depending on how your rifle profiles are sorted. Once the desired values for the shot angle, shot direction, and range are populated, press the plus target to save the ballistic solution for that situation. You will see the ballistic solution appear at the bottom of the screen. Repeat this process for the additional targets if desired. By clicking the Edit button, you can modify the input parameters for an individual target entry by clicking the box next to the entry, or all entries at once by clicking the box next to the Select All Targets. You may also reorder the target entries by either pressing the up and down arrows or by typing the order number in the space provided. Click Save to save your changes. Once you have at least one target entry saved, you may modify the holdover setting by clicking plus or minus, or by manually entering the desired value. This setting can be used to set the elevation value on your reticle that you plan to use as a holdover. For example, if you have targets that call for elevation corrections of 3, 4.2, and 5.5 MRAD, you can set the holdover correction to 3 and hold center, 1.2, and 2.5 MRAD. Once you've created your range card, you can save the data to your range card folders by clicking Save, or export the data to several options by clicking Export. Range cards saved to the Vortex Relay Range Cards folder will be automatically synced with your Talon HD. Now that you got your Talon HD 10K and GeoBallistics app customized for your setup, you are ready to call your fastest, most accurate corrections ever. If you have any other questions about the Talon HD 10K, GeoBallistics app, or any of our other products, please don't hesitate to reach out in the comments below, on the phone, or on our social media. We are always here to help.